I've laid out the truth about the conflict between Asians and Africans, but before I tell you what we're going to do about it, let me show you some more examples of how much your Asian friends like you. This is an ad for KFC in Korea. Now you got a Korean guy captured by some Africans. You already know what comes next. Chicken soothes the savage beasts.
Butthurt.
So proud of this ad that they won't run it outside of Korea.
No, I'm making a video.
Of course, most black people have never seen it. Now, what are you gonna do about it? Let's talk about art, shall we? We'll start with music, the universal language. In this case, what it's saying is, we don't respect black people. This is a Jap who's doing an Al Jolson routine, mocking Louis
Hypocrisy. The guy making this video is a racist black person. He said Jap. That's a racist term. And they wonder why Asians do this shit.
Here's another one, from Korea this time. Now, what are you going to do about it?
Crying ass hurt.
Here's a Korean
That's all you fucking can do.
Nikki S. Lee. She's a photographer who's done a series of pictures about her misadventures trying to fit into the hip-hop scene. She decided to paint herself brown and claimed she was just doing it so she could get into the mood. So, what do you think? A harmless case of a clueless but otherwise well-meaning Asian who simply wanted to slip into someone else's skin? Or just another yellow bastard who's using a pathetic excuse to keep getting her
black person being racist
kicked? You know what? It doesn't even matter.
And they wonder why people don't fucking like them.
What are you gonna do about it? This group is known as the Bubble Sisters. They're a Korean group who decided they would use blackface as their gimmick. But wait until you hear the reason why, and you're gonna love this. According to them, they were told that they weren't pretty enough to be a professional singing group. So instead, they would need a gimmick if they wanted to get people to buy their albums. Well, they decided that the perfect gimmick would be to play on the ugly theme. That they were too ugly to be professionals.
Yeah, so they had to be ugly like you to get in.
So this is their gimmick. That they're ugly and proud of it. Now you already know what the racial inference here is.
Yeah, you're a fucking hypocrite.
The question is, what are you going to do about it? The Asians will try to tell you that these things aren't really racist at all. No,
they're not. It's
your
comedy.
Black imagination
yes, it is.
Running away with you again.
Because you do the same fucking thing to other people.
Music, not ridicule. What are you going to do about it?
You ain't gonna do shit because there ain't nothing much you can do.
And of course, the whites are trying to revive blackface.
What's that?
Yeah, because we're a bunch of fucking honkies.
I thought we were going to do it like this.
Well, that's before...
We're not done trolling your stupid fucking ape asses.
For a month and a half, I've been dreaming how pretty I was going to look tonight. Well, here's my punishment for thinking so well of myself.
On the February morning, a tiny baby boy was born, Abraham. That is why we celebrate this blessed February day. Abraham, Abraham. Tell me.
Abraham. She gave this land the finest son.
That's what you did.
Whoever went to Washington.
Who that?
Abraham.
It started innocently enough, now didn't it? Angelina does brownface to play the widow of a dead journalist. Blacks opposed it, but because she went light on the make, the media gave this outrage no airplay. Then we had Saturday Night Live's Paul Arneson, who, by the way, is half Asian, half white, doing brownface of Obama.
I don't know, he looks part white,
black
part black.
people weren't laughing. Rather than admit that it was racist, he instead tried to chalk it up to Obama mania. Because after all, if a white person or an Asian merely denies their behavior is racist, then that means it's not racist. And who can forget Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder? You know, when I had heard that Terrence Howard was fired from Iron Man 2, for a while there I thought old Downey Jr. would be replacing him. Now, what do all these racists have in common? They claim that they're doing it merely as an homage, that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Say, you want to guess how many of these admirers of black people would welcome a black family into their neighborhood? We've been down this road before, from the founding of America. Every bigot's excuse is that it's not my fault, it's society's fault. Nobody takes responsibility for anything. The catch-all excuse is that so-and-so was a product of his time. They've been saying that in the U.S. for over 230 years. Thomas Jefferson had slaves? Well, it's because he was a product of the colonial age. President Lincoln said he would see the superior position assigned to the white man? Well, it's because he was a product of the slavery era. George Wallace tries to bring back slavery.
Hundreds of years ago, which a lot of us weren't even born for. Oh,
George Bush leaves thousands to die in New Orleans. Well, it's because he was a product of the Dixiecrat South. White people, spanning 4 centuries, all the way to the present.
Fuck you.
And all of them just products of their time.
Proper terms
about
Caucasian,
the only thing this
you racist
constant
monkey.
litany of excuse-making proves is that after 230 years, the times haven't changed one bit.
Your mindset is that of a fucking primitive, fucking premature social ejaculate. Alright, this is Black Truth Forever. Yeah, there's really not much truth in what you're saying. And as of slave owners, let's look at slave owners for a second. If you actually paid attention in history class instead of just taking in what the fuck you wanted, most southern black free people had more slaves than white people, which affected white people more than anything else. Even when other white people had slaves, it didn't boost any fucking economy whatsoever. And let's look at slave owners for a second. Africans, okay, sold their slaves, which were black slaves. Alright, black Africans sold black slaves to white people for iron bars from the slave ships in order to make spears. That's one. Two, free blacks actually had more slaves than white slave owners. It's a common fact. And three, nowadays, I'm going to be honest and speak for myself, people like me and people like me, we really don't give a fuck about you. We just want to live our everyday fucking lives, and on occasions, we usually get harassed by people like you, which is the only reason why we bring your sorry fucking asses up. I mean, personally, the way I see it, most black people, I can't say all, but a lot of black people are fucking mentally sick and need to get over their shit. Because most of us weren't born hundreds of fucking years ago, okay, when slavery was about. We don't give a flying fuck, okay? And your argument is basically fucking invalid. So, Black Truth Forever, you could say what the fuck you want, but you just sound like a fucking idiot. And, yeah, you can block me, but you can't shut me the fuck up. So, eat that, asshole.